In 1963, Ford offered Ferrari $18 million. Enzo Ferrari read the contract, stood up, and walked out of the room. What happened next cost Ford 4 years and a war. Welcome back. Mac here. In our first episode, we covered Ford, one side of the most famous rivalry in motorsport. Today, the other side. Ferrari, 129 years of Modena, 44 slides. Let's go. 1898, Modena. A blacksmith's son decides he wants to race cars. February 18, 1898. Enzo Anselmo Ferrari is born in Modena, Emilia-Romagna. His father repairs railway equipment. Enzo is 10 years old when he watches a race in Bologna. He does not stop thinking about it. 1924. Ferrari is racing for Alfa Romeo. Not as a top driver, good enough to win, not great enough to be Nuvolari. He figures this out. He pivots. 1929. Enzo founds Scuderia Ferrari, officially a racing division for Alfa Romeo, based in Modena on Viale Trento e Trieste. He manages drivers, prepares cars, wins races. He is not building Ferraris yet. He is learning what it takes. 1939. Alfa Romeo terminates the relationship. Enzo signs an agreement. He cannot use the Ferrari name on a racing car for 4 years. He calls the new venture Auto Avio Costruzioni. The first car, the 815, runs at the Mille Miglia in 1940. World War II stops everything after that. 1947, Maranello. Enzo Ferrari unveils the 125S, a V12 engine. First car to carry the Ferrari name. May 25, 1947. First race. Rome. Ferrari wins. First win, first race. By 1950, Ferrari is in Formula One, and winning 1950. Ferrari enters the first Formula One World Championship season. They are the only team still racing today from that original 1950 grid. 76 years and counting. 1952. 1953. Alberto Ascari wins back-to-back world championships in a Ferrari. Ferrari wins both constructors' titles. The pattern for the next 7 decades is established. This company will not go quietly. 1958 to 1965. Ferrari wins Le Mans 6 times in 8 years. The 250 Testarossa, the 250 GTO. The Prancinghorse owns the Sarthe. Every major manufacturer in Europe knows this. Henry Ford II knows this too. 1962. The 250 GTO, 39 cars built. At the time, a race car requiring homologation. Today, the most valuable automobile ever sold at auction, $70 million in 2018. One car. That number is not a typo. The road cars are funding the racing. The racing is selling the road cars. It is a closed loop Enzo built deliberately. He never wanted to sell you a car. He wanted to keep racing. The cars were how he paid for it. Here's the 1963 footprint. Maranello, one factory, one man's vision. The Maranello factory, founded in 1947, expanded through the 50s. By 1963, a few hundred workers, hand-built cars, no investor, no parent company. One man controls everything. Production, racing, who gets to buy a car. Enzo Ferrari decides personally who gets to buy a Ferrari. He rejects customers he considers unworthy. He refuses to sell to people he dislikes. The waitlist is a privilege he controls. This makes him exactly the kind of man who reads a contract and walks out of the room. By 1963, Ferrari's racing program is straining the finances. Road car sales generate revenue, but the cost of competing in Formula One and Le Mans simultaneously is escalating. Enzo is aware he needs capital. He does not need someone else's control. May 1963, Ford Motor Company approaches Ferrari. Henry Ford II wants to buy the company. The number on the table is approximately $10 to $18 million. Sources vary. Ford's corporate team flies to Maranello. Talks begin. Now we get to the part nobody at the press junket likes. Pause. Which badge next? Drop one. We pick from comments. Now we get to the part nobody at the press junket likes. June 1963. Negotiations reach the final contract stage. Ford's lawyers insert a clause. Ford Motor Company retains veto rights over Ferrari's motorsport program. Enzo Ferrari reads that clause. He stands up. He leaves the room. The deal dies in Maranello on the floor. Henry Ford II's reaction, documented in Ford corporate correspondence. All right then, we'll go racing and we'll beat his ass. Ford launches the GT40 program immediately. Goal, beat Ferrari at Le Mans. Budget, unlimited, relative to Ferrari's. The project name refers to the car's height, 40 inches from the ground. Low, fast, and funded by the most powerful industrial company in America. 1964. Le Mans. Every Ford GT40 fails to finish. 1965. Same result. Ferrari wins both years. Ford goes back to the shop. Henry Ford II does not go back to Enzo Ferrari. Meanwhile, the 250 GTO. Ferrari submitted it for FIA homologation, claiming 100 cars would be built. 39 were built. The FIA approved it anyway. Competitors called it fraudulent. The FIA called it compliant. Ferrari won the championship with it. File that one under. Things they'd rather you forget. 1956. Enzo's son Dino Ferrari dies of muscular dystrophy, age 24. Enzo names a new engine range after him. The Dino line eventually becomes its own sub-brand. Ferrari never discusses whether this affects his judgment in the years that follow. The record shows the Ford deal collapsed 7 years later. Ford versus Ferrari, Le Mans, 1966. The receipts. By late 1965, Ford has redesigned the GT40, the MK2, a 7-liter Ford big block V8, roughly twice the displacement of Ferrari's engines. Carroll Shelby joins as program manager. Ken Miles is the lead test driver. They test at Daytona, Sebring, everywhere. Then Le Mans. June 18, 1966, Le Mans. Ford fields 8 GT40s. Ferrari fields 8 cars. Henry Ford II is in the grandstands. The race runs 24 hours. By hour 16, it is clear. Ferrari is not winning this one. First, second, third, Ford, Ford, Ford. The drivers, Bruce McLaren and Chris Amon in car number 2. They take the official win after the finish controversy. Ken Miles and Denny Hume in car number 1, Ronnie Bucknam and Dick Hutcherson in car 7, 3 Ford GT40s, across the line essentially together. Henry Ford II gets his revenge. The receipt was 3 years in the making and the most photographed finish in Le Mans history. Ken Miles led the race for 21 hours. Ford PR wanted a photo finish and ordered the 3 cars to cross together. McLaren started further back on the grid. By the rules, his car had covered more distance. He was declared the winner. Miles was not. Miles died 2 months later testing a Ford prototype. He never got a Le Mans win on his record. File that one under. Things they'd rather you forget. 1967, Ford wins again. The new GT40 Mach 4. 1968, a privateer GT40 wins. 1969, same car, different team. 4 consecutive Le Mans victories for Ford. Ferrari does not win Le Mans again until 1994. That is a 28-year gap. Enzo Ferrari's response to the 1966 defeat? He builds the Ferrari 330 P4. By most measures, the most beautiful racing car ever made. It finishes second at Le Mans 1967, right behind the Ford. He never stops competing. He also never sells to Henry Ford. 1969. Enzo Ferrari does eventually sell, but not to Ford. Fiat acquires 50% of Ferrari. The contract includes one specific protection. Enzo Ferrari retains full control of the racing program, the same clause that killed the Ford deal. He got it from Fiat. 1988, things got final. August 14th, 1988. Enzo Ferrari dies in Maranello. He is 90 years old. The last car he personally approved, the F40, built to celebrate 40 years of Ferrari. He sees the prototype. He approves it. He dies before it goes on sale. The F40, 1987, 1,311 cars built. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.8 seconds. Top speed 320 kilometers per hour. Last Ferrari personally signed off by Enzo. He approved it as his final statement. That is the frame on which it should be considered. After Enzo's death, Fiat increases its stake to 90%. The Ferrari family retains 10%. Maranello continues. The F40 goes on sale. Prices immediately exceed the list price. Dealers and speculators extract the premium Enzo would have charged them himself. The early 1990s. Production volumes are low, development costs are high, and F1 results are erratic. Ferrari does not go bankrupt, Fiat backstops that. But the mid-range product, the 348, is not warmly received. Road and Track calls it a disappointment. Car and Driver agrees. Ferrari knows. They didn't stay down. 2000 to 2004. Michael Schumacher wins 5 consecutive Formula One World Championships driving a Ferrari. Ferrari wins 5 consecutive constructors' titles, 16 wins in 19 races in 2002, the most dominant run in Formula One history until Mercedes does it 10 years later. October 21, 2015. Ferrari NV lists on the New York Stock Exchange. Ticker RACE. The company that Enzo refused to sell to Ford for $18 million is now publicly valued at approximately $9 billion on day one. By 2026, the market cap exceeds $90 billion. 2025. Lewis Hamilton joins Ferrari, the driver who won 7 world championships with Mercedes, now in red. The most talked about driver transfer in the sport's history. Ferrari's last championship, 2008. Hamilton knows what it takes. So does Ferrari, 2024. Ferrari delivers approximately 13,752 cars. Revenue approximately 6.7 billion euros. EBIT margin over 27%. Highest profit per car of any automaker on earth. Not volume, margin. Here's what they're betting the company on now. Hybrid and eventually electric. 2019, the SF90 Stradale, Ferrari's first series production hybrid, a V8 petrol engine plus 3 electric motors, combined output 1,000 horsepower, 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds. First Ferrari to produce more than 1,000 horsepower. Enzo's cars produced around 280. 2022, the Purosangue, Ferrari's first 4-door, 4-seat car. They call it a Ferrari with 4 seats. Everyone else calls it an SUV. Ferrari sold every allocation immediately. Enzo Ferrari famously did not want Ferrari to build a 4-seater. He also did not want to sell to Fiat. The company moves on. 2026. Ferrari's first fully electric car is confirmed for production. No name announced at time of script. The price range will be above 500,000 euros. Ferrari's position. The electric powertrain is not a compromise. It is the next way to make the car faster. 129 years. The horse never stopped running. What it was pulling changed, from a race team to a publicly listed company worth $90 billion. The badge is the same, is top 5 numbers from today. 1947, the year Ferrari built its first car and won its first race in the same season. 39, the number of 250 GTOs built, today worth 70 million each. 1966, Ford's revenge at Le Mans, 4 years after Enzo walked out. $70 million won 250 GTO at auction in 2018. $90 billion, the company Enzo refused to sell for $18 million. If you got this far, you're already 1% deeper into car history than 99% of drivers. Hit subscribe. Mac out.